Hello flight simmers, welcome back to the channel and welcome today to this CRJ flight. I have briefly mentioned it on the last video that Aerosoft has also pushed out a new update for the CRJ, which comes with a lot of fixes, many of them not too visible in the daily operations, but nevertheless a lot of added logic to the LNAV, VNAV, all that kind of stuff. So that's really good and very needed as well, since previously the CRJ has been kind of hard to fly, sometimes not following the waypoints exactly and stuff like this. So this is supposed to be a lot better now. We are sitting here today at Vancouver, really bad weather, as you can see, pretty rainy and also quite cold. And yeah, we are going down to San Francisco, which is almost a 2-hour trip these days, being operated with a CRJ 900, which we are seeing here. And so it's been a while since the last CRJ flight. Let's see how it has changed, if it behaves any better than before. And also I have to say I've learned quite a bit about the CRJ lately due to the new tutorial being online on YouTube. I'm sure many of you have seen it. That's actually made for FS 2020, but nevertheless also applies a lot for the prepared 3D version of the aircraft. So that helped a lot, and yeah, I'm feeling fairly confident that today we can do a good flight in the CRJ. So passengers are coming in, we can see it in the jetway, and baggage is, we're still waiting for that. But let's head inside the cockpit and start to set up. Right, so here we are. It is a bit dark. That's due to the wet weather, of course, but I think it's quite alright. We can work with that. Let's start down here. I have just entered the route. Today, due to the winds, we are going out of runway 08 right, also meaning we will have quite a bit of a taxi, but we will talk about that later. And from there, we're going to be flying the Stanley departure, and the departure routes here at Vancouver are really straightforward. So this one is just, we climb to 1000, to right-hand turn onto heading 145, and then it's vectors, and then we can vector ourselves to the first VOR, which is this one, Yankee Juliet. So pretty straightforward. That's all entered correctly. So 1000 vectors down to the VOR. Super straightforward. Right, then we can, the arrival we are gonna plan during the cruise, since it is a bit of a flight. Then we can head on to the performance like that, and there's still this super convenient feature here in the aircraft. Going on the performance page, I've set it up already, so we are carrying roughly 5 tons of fuel, and that's our zero fuel weight. And you can see we are not even that far off the max takeoff weight. Pretty good payload today. So we can copy performance data into FMS, and then we should see it here, and there it is, all filled correctly. Then the flight level is going to be 350 today, like that. And I believe on the VNAV pages there is not much to set up, just the transition level. Well, it is actually 18,000 in Canada, so that's fine. And yeah, that's all really straightforward. Next on, we can go to the, or no, actually I've missed something. Yeah, right here it is. I was just searching for it. So it's on the performance page, and it's the second page, and here we can enter the winds. And today the wind component is going to be a bit of a tailwind, 24 knots. So we enter plus 24, and it just goes into the cruise. And then it's done for the entire flight. Next on, we go to the radio page, and there's the second one where we can enter the flight ID, and it's a Jazz flight today. So also will be, is it this one? Yeah, that's the one for Jess, and flight number 844, and this goes in here. So that's entered, and with that it's basically the flex temperature, of course. Right, so we don't have a proper takeoff calculator for the CRJ, but we know that it's a long runway. And at least according to the YouTube tutorial, 46 is always quite a good number to go with when we have a decently long runway. So that's what we're going to do. 46, and then we just want to make sure that on here we have the VNAV profile displayed up here. That's not too interesting for the departure, but then when we get to the arrival, of course, it's more interesting. Right, and I believe that's now really everything there is to do here on the FMC. So, right, quickly finishing up here. So, yeah, speed, we will talk about that in a second. Initial heading of the runway is 083, and we can enter that like this. And I think top altitude, I think on the departure it reads we should climb to 2000. However, that's coming up. Let's do it realistic. Come on, why not? I mean, we're gonna get there really, really fast. But 2000, so that's set. Right, regarding the performance, flap 8 takeoff, that's sort of the standard way to do it, but it is wet. I don't think it's snow. Yeah, so here we are. Winds are 130, 10 knots gusting to 15 knots, and visibility is fine, but then there's rain. Low hanging clouds at 2900, overcast, and 7 degrees. Okay, so this means, yeah, it's wet definitely, and also we do need to put on the engine cowling anti-ice. Just looking where it is, it's up here, so we will need to put this on for the departure. And yeah, we can simply set them all, and then we should have these speeds down here, and there they are. Perfect. Right, okay, so yeah, now that's really all the setup we need for now. APU is running already. We can pop on the seatbelts and non-smoking signs. This goes to armed. We're just waiting for the baggage to finish loading, and then we are good to go already. Okay, so the baggage trucks are leaving the scene, so we can go back into the flight deck and start to close some of the doors. This one, and of course the passenger door, like this. Wheel chocks are still in place. Parking brake is set, so those can go as well. Cool. And then let's quickly disconnect these jetways so we know that's done. And just quickly double checking. So passenger signs are on, landing elevation is not set specifically, but we are on sea level, so that's fine. Altimeters are set, FMS, IRS. That's all done. Right. APUs are running, takeoff data, doors. Now let's double check. Always good to double check. Yeah, all the doors are closed. Perfect. And beacons, of course, go to on. And fuel pumps and quantity. So fuel pumps go on, and then quantity 499, and that's okay. And hydraulic pumps are on, and parking brake is set. Okay, cool. So we can ask for the pushback. No de-icing, and that's spot on. 20:45, and that's 1:45 p.m. local time, and that's spot on the departure time, and that's really just pure luck right now. Also, I'm just seeing this is a bit far out. Let's go.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Let's go even 10 miles for the departure. Right, okay, traffic is on. Radar we will put on a bit later. And then over here maybe we can go to the next page and direct intercept page. Okay. Yeah, also of course we can use the HUD for the departure. Tail goes to the left.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Brakes released.
Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start.
Okay, let's quickly work through this stuff here. So it should be the stabilizer trim that's on here. So these two and Mach trim, and I think yaw damper comes on in a second automatically. And then also the ropes and the windshield's too low, and spoilerons, right. I think they will also disappear automatically. Let's see, we will see that in a second. Okay, but other than that, I believe we are good to fire up the engines now. So beacons are running, fuel pumps are on. So starting number 2. And now we are looking for 20% N2, and then we can put the fuel to on. Yeah, there we are. Okay, this pushback is a bit interesting. He's not really putting us anywhere close to the line, but never mind. We didn't hit anything.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Okay, they fire up really fast, so let's do number 1 as well. And I should mention regarding the performance, so initially the CRJ was not running really smooth, a lot of stutters and lags. Now it's much better. They have posted a small fix on the Aerosoft forum, which I installed, so I hope this will stay like this throughout all the flight, and that will really be brilliant. Yeah, because sometimes it gets really stuttery. But okay, let's hope for the best.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Okay, this guy's gone. Let's put the nose wheel steering to armed so we don't forget it. That's really important. And then the flaps go to position 8. And trim should be 6.5. So trimming it down a bit, 6.5. There we are.
Left is clear.
And those go to armed. And then generators are running, so we can kill the APU. And taxi lights, and then just the flight controls. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, and the rudder full left and full right. That's done, and I'm just seeing the yaw damper still there. So let's hit those two. Okay, that's gone. Brilliant. Okay, flaps are set, flight console are done, trims are done, thrust reversers are armed, flight instruments are checked, brake temperature is checked. Yeah, that should be pretty cool. Yeah. Alrighty, so we are good to taxi. Parking brake goes off, taxi lights are on. So let's go. Just, yeah, these throttles are sometimes a bit weird, so please excuse if I'm like not really smooth on the throttle controls today. Right, and now it's going to be a really long taxi. I'm not going to show all of it. It's certainly taking a bit of time, by the way. Speaking of time, let's put this one to on. And I don't even have the right chart up yet. Okay, that's definitely left-hand turn over here. And now it's already starting to become a little bit laggy, and sometimes what helps a bit is turning off the EFB. At least I get the impression that this helps a little bit. Okay, just trying to figure out where we are. I think we can go out one further and then take the left-hand turn and taxi all the way down. Or we can also take this one, apparently. Yeah, let's take this one. Probably a bit shorter. Okay guys, yeah, since the scenery is really not too pretty with all this bad weather around, maybe I'm gonna show you one or two views in between. Other than that, I'm gonna meet you down at 08 right in just a bit. Okay, now here we are, almost there at the runway. Let's quickly finish a few things. So, weather radar goes on, of course, in these conditions, and transponder. And yeah, there's some aircraft coming in over there, but it's the other runway, so that should be fine. Let's put the anti-ice on as discussed. And we can hear the engines spooling up a little bit due to more power needed. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, now that's always when firing up VFB, frames really come down a bit. So yeah, lights and strobes in just a second. Trying to line it up here. Okay, so all the landing lights come on, strobes come on, and this goes to manual for the departure. Transponders on, radar is set, okay, looking all fine. TO config is okay, we have the message over there. Oops. Sorry. Getting all the available runway here. Yeah, I'm not sure if you just saw it, like these lines on the runway popping in and out. It's a bit weird. I don't know why, but in general the airport is looking a bit weird with like this rain going on, but at the same time these weird snow fields all around. So yeah, not my very favorite scene right now. Hopefully we have better weather down in San Francisco. Right, just double checking very quickly if we have missed anything. After all, we are not flying the aircraft that often, but I think we are looking good. Let's use the head-up display for the departure. Oh, we are rolling once again. Sweet. Okay, but I think we are good to go. So, yeah, remembering we climb to 1000 and then go heading 145. Let's start the timer. Press toga once. This brings up the flight director takeoff. That's cool. Okay, let's do it. So, advancing the throttles. And now it's going to be really hard to put them in the right detent. Toga almost. Oh, come on. Toga, okay. Looking good. I'm looking forward to break through the clouds in just a few minutes. This weather really sucks down here. Okay, V1, rotate. And we are airborne. Gears coming up. And off we go. Okay, now we can't okay, now it's getting better. Right, 1000 feet coming up in just a second. Let's try to put this to 145. There it is. Yeah, the flight director is not really following it, but we can see it down here. Let's go heading, then we should be there. Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, 2000 are we already through. Okay, that was fast. Okay, let's go speed and heading, and then we can put on the autopilot like that. And now let's just see. Let's dial it all the way up to cruise. 350. Oops, that was a bit fast. Okay, 350. Then climb levers should come back, not climb, thrust levers back and climb like this. And right, speed. Now we can speed up all the way to 250 now. Now the aircraft's going to pitch itself down in order to meet this speed. At the same time, taxi lights, reverse thrusts. And let's see, where's the temperature? I can't even see it on here anywhere. Okay. Anyway, okay, flaps back to 1. And flaps back up. Okay, cool, and then I think we can go first waypoint if we go now direct to this VOR like this, and then we can go nav, although that looks a bit weird, but I think it's correct. Yeah, that looks a bit better. No, it's okay. Doing some weird stuff, never mind. Right, and the climb fuel flow needs to go back to auto. And leads and APU are set, thrust reversers are off, and crew advisory system. We have the non-smoking seatbelts and anti-ice, and that's all as it should be, so that's done. And now let's put this off. I think it really helps the FPS. Okay, and I can see a bit of cloud tops coming up there. And yeah, that's a bit weird. And that's what I've been talking about. Sometimes it does some weird stuff and not really following the flight path, and I really thought they fixed it, but apparently no, we are not quite there yet. I mean, that should do the trick, right? And now going back to nav. Okay, now it seems to work. Righty, okay guys, we are on our cruise, just pushing through all these clouds here in Vancouver, and I will switch to outside view now, then we can enjoy the moment when we break through the clouds, and then we will meet back in around 1.5 hours and hopefully have a nice landing into San Francisco. So see you in a bit. Hello guys, welcome back. We are back in the flight deck very early, just passing 24,000 feet and now a bit below. So still a few miles to go down to San Francisco. Nevertheless, I think flying this approach in the CRJ is super interesting, something we don't get to do very often. So I thought I'm going to be back a bit early, and then maybe later on we have another sort of short sequence of scenics if we like. But yeah, talking about the arrivals. So we are flying on, well, we're going to have an ILS arrival runway 28 right. That's pretty standard for San Francisco. And today we are flying the Bodega 3 arrival with the transition at Malbec, or Malbec, whatever, almost like the wine, but not exactly. So Malbec, and you can see on the navigation display we are now coming up to Big Low, and also you can see on the charts there are various constraints in terms of altitude and also speed. And of course, flying this in a heavy airliner, as we do most of the time, it would be super easy. Just pop in VNAV, everything is entered in the FMS, and yeah, the aircraft does everything automatically basically. In the CRJ it's somewhat different, and it's super interesting and also super fun, coming to think about it. So what we really need to watch out for is, well, first of all, we need to make sure all the constraints are correctly dialed in here, and we can see the constraints on the navigation display, so that looks good. Next up, as already mentioned, Bucklow, 280 knots. We have dialed this in here as well, and then between flight level 230 and 190. Like that. And what this means is I'm always decreasing the altitude to the lowest one we want to be at the next waypoint, quickly correcting a bit. And yeah, so just making sure that we don't descend below the lowest altitude. That's kind of important. And over here on the direct intercept page we can see the vertical speed which is required to get there. So now for Bucklow we would need 1,400 feet on descent. Now we are 1.5, just a tiny bit off, but that's okay, to get to Bucklow in time for 190. And you can see we are sort of going along the lower ends of the altitude constraints here. At the same time we need to monitor the speed all the time, since we don't have any auto throttle on the CRJ. So yeah, managing the speed all the time to stick at the desired one. Right, and then looking further ahead, then will be Lozit, also 280 below 16,000, and then later on Cork with 250 and 11,000. And so what we need to make sure that we don't descend below 11,000 for the next few waypoints, but also we want to be spot on 11,000 there. So what I'm going to do is dial in the 11,000 in the altitude window. We can see it here. And now let's see for Cork, descending with 1,500 feet will get us there just in time. So we're gonna pop that in, dial it down to 1.5. And yeah, this changes from time to time. We need to make sure that this, yeah, that we stay spot on the profile. But that looks good for now. Okay, so Cork 11,000, then Briggs 11,000, and Briggs is the waypoint exactly over the airport. And then we are going to do some vectors, 140 degrees, and then eventually do a big left-hand turn onto the final approach, ILS 28 right. Yeah, transition altitude, that's already blinking since we're approaching 18,000. And let's check the weather. I think it's a bit better than up at yeah, up at Vancouver. Okay, winds 4 knot 330, good visibility, clouds still very low, few at 900, scattered 1.8, and temperatures of 11 degrees. And now I haven't seen the altimeter, 3026. Okay, that's gonna change things quite a bit now. So let's see. First of all, going to inches, and then 3026. And I assume now that this is set, we need to descend a bit faster. Cook's 1.8 now, yeah, exactly. So dialing this down to 1.8, and yeah, that should get us there spot on, hopefully. Now we are speeding again, so taking back the throttle a bit. So in the CRJ, it's constantly managing all the flight controls and the flight inputs, and yeah, I think that just makes it much more fun and enjoyable. Okay, now I'm actually starting to be happy to start at the descent so early, or start talking back to you guys so early, since we really need that time here. Setting the minimums, which will be 213 today, so switching this over to decision altitude, and this is going to 213. We can do 220, being on the safe side, like that. Right, still speeding a bit. Let me take back those throttles a bit more, almost to idle now. And also, I think there was another speed constraint in there. Cork gonna be 250. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, set this back to 250. And yeah, passing Lozit pretty much at 280, that's perfect. And I think now I'm going back to idle to give the aircraft some time to slow down. Double checking again, now it says 17, so let's put it up a notch. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong direction. And yeah, you can see it around, it's a bit laggy, and I don't know what's happening here, but always after a bit of flight time in the CRJ, it becomes really laggy. It's super annoying. I hope it's not going to be too bad for the landing. I think they really need to improve that performance, otherwise it's a bit unenjoyable, this aircraft. Okay, also we need to set the frequency, 111.7. That's automatically tuned, at least for this one. Let's do the same over here. Like this, 111.7, cool. And let's see how we're doing. Yeah, we're slowing down. 11,000. Now at 1.5. So you can see there's a bit of a mismatch according to the banana. We are reaching 11,000 after the waypoint, but in fact we're descending faster than we would need to get there. So still a bit of a mismatch in the system, but yeah, could be worse. Okay, and there's the airport down there, starting to come into sight. Beautiful. Yeah, approaching 11,000, and let's see. So once we are through the waypoint, we're going to intercept the glide slope at 3,000, so still a bit of way to descend. And yeah, I think we're just going to descend further down with whatever we can get in idle. And then the earlier we get down to the altitude, the earlier we can turn on to the final approach. Okay, now leveling out, so we need to put back some power. And we're going to stay at this altitude for the next waypoint. Okay, yeah, now, yeah, that's a bit of confusing. We are not turning left here at this waypoint, but we are going heading 145, that's off to the right. And then going vectors. Yeah, beautiful stuff, seeing the airport just down below us, but also we need to focus on the flying. Okay, yeah, 2 nautical miles to go. I think I'm going to put this to 145 already. 140 to the charts, according to the chart, sorry. So 140. And I think that's it. So heading select. And now keep it descending. We will dial it all the way down to 3,000 now. And let's put it down 1.5 and see where that puts us roughly. The leg spikes are getting a bit worse. I really hope it's going to be okay for the landing. Okay, also now we can, since we are on heading, we can change the nav source down to localizer 1. And apparently that's not... there it is. Okay, now it's in green. That's what I've been looking for. 340 is not correct. So final heading is 284. And we're speeding, sorry. Back to idle. I think we should set the same over here, right? Localizer to 284. And we are below 10,000, so putting the lights on. Oh, also the seatbelts. Should have done it a bit earlier. And as you can see, we are not really getting down super fast, so let's see if we can add something here. And I know, well, knowing San Francisco a bit, there is some terrain down here on the right hand side, but we can't see it on the display right now. So we are looking good for now. Yeah, and we are going into some clouds now, so let's pop the cowling anti-ice to on. Okay. And now we are going out a bit far, but I think we can do the turn pretty soon. That should work out. Ooh. Ah, okay, there's the terrain down there. Okay, so let's start the left-hand turn. Yeah, you can see it's quite a lot of work flying the CRJ. It's not too easy at all. And let's prepare for the landing a bit. So passenger signs are on, thrust reversers need to be armed. And landing gear flaps, okay. Okay, that's looking good now. Quite a few aircrafts on the approach there, but that looks like 28 left. Okay, and now in fact we even made it down to 3,000 a bit early. And let's start to slow down. Maybe 210 for now, and then later on 190, something like that. Okay, we are 19 miles out. That's quite some distance. Let's arm the approach mode, and then yeah, we should have localizer and glide slope in white, and then when they're captured they're gonna move over to the left hand side and turn green. Let's manage the speed once again. Okay, and I think I need to clear out a bit of traffic here. Okay, yeah, I cleared out all the 28 right traffic. Okay, let's go flap 1. And we're gonna need some more power here. And I think the localizer should capture pretty soon now. And let's go speed 190. That's the localizer, perfect. We can also slowly see the glide slope indication coming on in, and this means, yeah, let's go flap 8. And we overshot the localizer here a bit, but I think it's gonna recapture. Still some aircrafts up ahead. Let's see what they are up to. Okay, but now we are looking good. So we are 13 miles out, sort of capturing the localizer. And glide slope should be captured any second now, and then we have a nice long final. Yeah, that's the glide slope. Go around altitude is 3000 as well, so we can leave it as it is. Okay, so this guy is climbing somewhere else. This as well, there's just this guy in front of us who's also going really slow for whatever reason, but we are going fast. We can go 170 for a bit, and then later on we're gonna pop this to BREF 141. Yeah, for some reason I can't find this guy in AI Companion, so I can't clear it out just now. Maybe I can. We're anyway overtaking him, sort of. I really wonder why we don't get any TCAS advisory. That should definitely pop up right now. Okay, 7 miles out. Let's go flaps 20. Yeah, still in the clouds pretty much. Ooh, and now we're losing speed. Okay, and gear down, and now we can set VREF 141 and keep the flaps coming. Flaps 40 and landing checklist. Cabin is ready, thrust reversers are armed, gear is down, and flaps are 45.
1,000.
Completed. Okay, so looking good. Do we want to use the head-up? Maybe. It's not too bad. We're just going really slow. Okay, I'm gonna take the aircraft. Oops, like this, okay. Right, so as always, wish me luck. I mean, we managed to do the arrival pretty well, and that's sort of the most difficult thing in the CRJ. Now we just need to not screw up the landing. We are too high.
400. 300.
It's going to be a bit of a long landing, but long runway.
200.
Small aircraft should be fine.
Sink rate.
100.
Sink rate.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Okay, retard.
10.
Ooh, that was pretty nice. Awesome. Idle reverse. Cool. Welcome down to... Ah, yeah. That's another mistake. I didn't touch the brakes. We are so used to having auto brakes, so I never touched them initially during the landing, but reverse thrusts did a pretty good job, so here we are. Cool. Very cool. That wasn't too bad, just a bit laggy. Makes it a bit harder, but in terms of landing and in terms of arrival, I'm pretty happy with this one. And flying this aircraft is really a lot of work. Okay, so slowing down a bit. Right, where should I start? Okay, flaps. Then the lights and taxi lights come on, strobes come off. We can wait another second for the APU. Now we don't have ATC, but looks like the runway is clear. And I'm going to set up the gate in just a second as well. Okay, let's put the anti-ice to off. And that's also reducing N1, makes it a bit easier to taxi. Flight time, I think it resets after 100 minutes, so that's almost 2 hours on this spot. Cool, and those go to off. This goes to standby, and weather radar comes off. All right, I think that's pretty much it for the cleanup. And now let's see. So gate's gonna be Golf 3, and that's once again a bit of a taxi. A lot of taxiing today as well. Okay. Let's like seriously? Is that all the gates you have? Ah, okay, here we go. Golf. Okay, I need to see how it's called here in this sim. Okay, so here in the sim it's Golf 91. Sometimes there's a bit of a mismatch between, I guess United, since we're a Star Alliance member. Yeah, sometimes there's a bit of a mismatch between the gates here in the sim and the gates on the charts. So that's why it's called different. Okay, I think now we are on Alpha, but we need to get down on Bravo, so I'm gonna need to take another right-hand turn. I think we can already start summing up the flight a bit since we have a bit of time now. So in my opinion, the CRJ really needs some time to get used to it. Really not too easy to land, and not too easy to fly, and not only to land. Yeah, not so easy to fly since it's also it's quite differently some things compared to Airbus and Boeing. But once you get the hang of it, it's really a lot of fun, and since it's more work, it also has like a better immersion in my opinion. So yeah, it's not too bad after all. I just really hope they do some performance improvements and fix all these stutters. And yeah, I'm just seeing we have barely been below max landing weight, so that was pretty close. But then especially these United States arrivals are pretty challenging in the CRJ, since we have these long stars with all the altitude and speed constraints. I know flying over in Europe, it's often much easier than that. I mean, you just dial it down to the glide slope interception altitude and set the vertical speed, and then you just go down there. It's much easier. So flying the CRJ, especially in the US, more challenging. Okay, firing up the APU, of course. Yeah, these gates are usually where the international heavies are parked, but yeah, since we are flying internationally, the CRJ gets to park on a heavy parking spot. That's also kind of cool. And we're gonna have the last one on the left hand side. Okay, I think we can turn the taxis off. Strobes are off. APU is avail. Right. Yeah, all the way back there. Ah, okay, that's quite interesting how this parking works. I wouldn't really want to do that in a 777 or something like that. Okay, I think we can go a bit further than that, judging from the parking marks. Okay, I think that's all right. Parking brake, and APU is running, APU generators on, so we can kill the engines like that. Clock time, that's 136 minutes, so 2 hours and 16 or basically 17 minutes. Quite a long flight for a CRJ, really. And now the flows, beacons, seat belts. I believe we would put the fuel pumps to off. And right, what else? This goes to off. Just thinking if we are missing something crucial here, but I hope not. And aircraft, wheel chocks. And then we can ask for deboarding. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, 50 packs. That's okay. Jetways are working after landing. Yeah, we have done all that stuff. Shutdown. Parking brakes are on. Seatbelts are off. Thrust levers are cut off. Anti-ice is off. Fuel pumps are off. Beacons are off. Nose spring is off. Cool. So everything done. Awesome stuff. Another look up here. But we don't have external power yet, so we will just leave the APU running. Cool. Open, open, open. So guys, and here we are. Welcome once again to San Francisco, and thanks a lot for joining me on this CRJ flight. It's quite fun flying this aircraft. I can only recommend, if you, in case you have it installed on your sim, just give it a couple of tries, do a couple of flights, and after some time you will get the hang of it. Really fun to fly in a way, and yeah, something else than Boeing and Airbus all the time. So, well, thank you very much, and as always, feel free to like and subscribe or leave a comment down below in case you want to point out anything or do some route suggestions for the future. And other than that, take care and see you next time. Bye bye.